Thank you, thank you. Welcome to OnSet. I am Daniel Norton, as it would be. Erica's over here. We got Seth on the Mighty Mix. This feels awkward because my camera's in the wrong spot. Hold on. We'll cut that part. So today we're talking about your first lighting kit. So the idea here was for me to kind of walk through what I think would be appropriate for people if they were kind of starting out as photographers. What would be a good kind of kit to get? We have a kit from Flashpoint that I'll walk through. It doesn't have to be this kit, right? But just the items in it, that's what's going to be important. Like, what are the items that you want to look for when you're looking for your lighting kit? If you are a video shooter as well, you could also swap out what's here with, let's say, LED lights, right? But as a photographer, even though the learning curve is definitely steeper, I still believe that having flash as your main light source is going to be beneficial. And if you watch my demo, the last one, right? We bring out super expensive, really nice LEDs and show how great they can be. But in the end, flash is still the best, really, for photographers for a lot of reasons, mostly control, because that's why we light, right? We light for style, but we also light for control. The cameras these days have really high ISOs, right? You can shoot a gazillion ISO, but if the light is junky or you're in a space, I want to put a beautiful light on Erica, so I'm going to go 1,000,000 ISO, but if there's a bunch of other light in the room that's going to make my shot bad, that's not good, right? So flash allows us to control it, get rid of the light in the space so that all those mistakes or awesome lighting is on us. So I'm going to walk through this kind of what comes with this kit. This is actually the flat, there's probably a SKU. There's a SKU for this. I'm going to tell you what it is. Do you know what it is? It's they make it easy for me because they put it on the bag, but it's upside down. So give me a second. FPL FX 600 SE 2K. So this is the Flashpoint 600 SE special edition. Lights, they are strobes, 600 watt seconds. What does that even mean? Well, basically, watt seconds is a tricky term because it varies brand to brand what it actually means. But within a brand, you can kind of get an idea of the power. So if you're buying lights, I suggest somewhere between 300 and 600 is good. So this is the top end. You could get this same set of lights at 400 watt seconds. I think they make them as well, or other lights at different watt seconds. I wouldn't go any more power to start off with. That's just me giving you my experience as a portrait photographer. You'll have to use lights to kind of know. The true measure of the power of a light is guide number, but I'll just give you an idea. Like, we'll fire this up and I'll do them at full power and you can see how bright they are. But let's see what a kit should come with. Number one, and this is the thing that's often overlooked by people, try to get the bag. And now this sounds really simple, like what? But bags for lighting are super expensive. So if you can get a bag with your kit, do it. Like, it's always like, oh, I just get a bag, but this bag by itself is probably a few $100s, right? So you want to get a bag for your kit so you can move it around and store it if it's in like an apartment. So this comes with a bag. Light stands, obviously. Normally, if you watch these demos, we use C-stands. If you're always in the studio, you can buy a kit that doesn't come with stands and buy yourself some C-stands, but then that's going to limit you when you're trying to travel around. C-stands are these big old heavy stands. This is why I didn't have the camera in that spot. See, I knew there was a reason. We use them all the time here. These are awesome. You know, you're probably not going to want to get on the subway with that, right? Or maybe people will get out of your way if you do. All right, so this comes with a couple of light stands. Obviously, you want one light stand per light minimum. I don't know why, but I have seen some lighting kits that have like 3 lights and 2 stands, and I'm always like, what? But, you know, this has 2 stands. I'm doing the fun stuff first, the stands. I feel like I'm on QVC. Is there still QVC? I haven't had, I had a friend that we were photo assistants together. I had one friend in my life. We were photo assistants together, and he ended up going down and working for QVC as like their photographer, like set photographer. And his stories, it was just really like how fast they have to move because they're like 24 hours, like just, you know, QVC is my like aging was. All right. Okay, good. All right, so let's get to the meat of it. This kit is 2 lights. Now, you may have heard the term 3-point lighting. Most lighting kit makers have never heard that term. But I swear most kits come with 2 lights. I have no idea why. Like, you never heard of 3-point lighting? But then if you buy 2, now you got 4. Like, it's not right no matter what you do. No, so you can get 3 light kits if you like. So we're just gonna, but most kits do come with 2 lights, which is kind of odd, I guess. These are battery powered lights. Again, I'm not going to go through all the specs and stuff. We're not here to do that, but you know, again, they're pretty chunky. This is a studio or location kit that you're going to be lugging around in a bag. We're all about power and control here. So again, 600 watt seconds. These are battery powered. So Seth was kind enough to charge these batteries earlier. Look at that. I did it on the first. I practiced that for like hours putting that together. Did you get it in slow motion and everything for cinematic? No, nothing. Okay. So let's start with the one light. So, I mean, you may say to yourself, you know, maybe I don't have the, oh, by the way, did I mention how much it costs? I was supposed to mention that. This is normally $1,099. It's down to $889. So $210 savings. It's pinned in the chat if you want to check it out. What's that? It's special edition because when it first came out, it was available only here. Many of these Flashpoint lights are effectively the same lights as Godox lights. Have you seen Godox? This was a light that we had that wasn't commonly a Godox light. But there's like cool stuff. Like for instance, you can, this little light right here will light up a different color for your groups. So like if you have like A group, B group, whatever, you can make them different colors. So that helps when you're looking. You're just like, what light is that? Oh, it's red, it's A, that kind of thing. Don't ask me how you set that because they literally just gave me this kit last night. Okay, the next thing we're going to use is a modifier. This comes with a softbox and an umbrella, but I want to start with the umbrella because as any showman knows, you got to build up to the finale. Plus, okay, look at that. This is not a bad umbrella. This umbrella here, by the way, whenever you get a new photo umbrella, you have to test it by putting it over your head like that. It's important. Yes, very simple. All right. This umbrella is convertible, I believe. Huh? No, it's not. Well, why is it silver on the inside? Let me see if this is convertible. I probably should have looked. No, it's not. Okay. So if it's convertible, then we'll figure it out. Is it convertible? I don't want to tear it apart. A convertible umbrella means you can take the outside off and use it as a shoot through. Is that true? Or does it just look that way?
I think you have to, no, they're sewn.
They're sewn. Okay. So this is basically not a convertible umbrella, which is fine.
Weird.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool design though. It's interesting because what they've got here is, I'm interested to see this because I've never used this kit before. Like I said, it's got silver. You see that? Which would normally give you a very specular poppy light, right? But over it, they've got some diffusion. So we're getting this kind of combo. Should produce a pretty interesting light. So an umbrella is a good go-to. Used to be, I would say, get umbrellas because they're cheap. Now softboxes are pretty inexpensive, but still, an umbrella is a nice light when you only have one light source. What's that?
The kid's calling it a white umbrella.
Oh, the kid's calling it a white umbrella. Okay, so that's it. I've never seen that before. That's very cool. All right, so umbrella slides in. Now, obviously, or maybe it's not that obvious, the light bounces off the umbrella, becoming our light source. So we're going to put the light facing away from the subject, who is Erica. I'm pretty sure I said that, but I'll say it again. I've done this before, I swear. All right, we're going to turn this on. Okay, so effectively, let me take a second, just in case people are new to Flash and stuff. Sorry. All your controls for this flash are on the side. And basically, we have our power rating here. Now, what this means is basically how much of the total power of the light are we going to put into each individual flash. So if we're setting our power, like there, that's full power, 1-to-1, right? 1/2 is half power, right? Oh, I'll bring it, well, because I'm talking to the people in the audience. Oh, look at that. Now they all try. I like when they look at me. Right, now I can't see. Okay, so basically
saving them from looking at you.
The Snapchat filters on the TV. Quarter power. And we've got some adjustments here, so we can come down in tenths. So that's going to give us some adjustment as to our power. Because with these lights, we're going to set them manually. These lights, I'm going to use a light meter to show you how that works. And we're going to kind of go from there. Now, if you don't have a light meter and you're on a budget, right? So you're buying this first lighting kit. What you can do is you can kind of figure out your exposure through trial and error. If that's what you're going to do, practice it at home first. Don't do it in front of your client because light is always going to be the same, right? So if I put this at half power and Erica's like 5 feet away and it looks good to me, I'll know when I go to photograph a client and they're 5 feet away, I can set it at half power, right? Don't show up and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to do this, but I'll do that live for you guys because why not? All right, so I'm going to take this. They clearly didn't design this for live streams because the screen's on the wrong side, but this goes down to 512. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm counting 8, 9. So there's 9 stop range here. So I'm going to go down halfway, which would be 5. We'll say 5 stops. So I'm going to go to 1/32 power to start with, because I have no idea at 1/32 power what my exposure is going to be, but I do know what I want it to be. So let's talk about that for a second. See, all you people that are watching and are like, hey, what about the black frame? I was getting there. All right. By the way, this is the Nikon Z6 III, which apparently is on special. Kiva said, $600 off. If you, not this one, you got to get your own. They got them back there. This one's not mine. I have to give it back. All right, so first thing we want to do when we're operating with flash is, what did I say? Why do we shoot with flash? Besides stylizing our light, we want control, right? So in order to control the light, we have to remove the light in the space. Now you might be at Adorama lit by a bunch of really fancy LEDs like I am. You might not be. I mean, it depends. But no matter what, we want to get rid of the light in the space. And there's one simple formula to do that. Basically, we set our camera so that when we make an exposure, the frame is black. I have named that the black frame. I know, it's a creative name. We set our shutter speed at the fastest speed within the normal sync range of our camera. No high speed sync here. We're not into that. So that's 1/200th of a second for this camera. ISO, lowest ISO within the normal range, which is 100 for this camera. It might be 200 for some cameras, but for this camera, it's 100. And then we're going to set our aperture so we get about a black frame, right? So you can, like, I'm using a mirrorless camera so I can see, oh, yeah, look at this. I'm plugged into, this is my first time here. I'm plugged into Capture One right now so you can see through my lens. So I have it in the mode that probably a lot of people leave their cameras in, which basically allows, when they're using flash, it basically allows me to see so I can focus and stuff, right? But this is not a true representation of my exposure. When I press this little button here on the side, I just have the camera set this way because Seth set it up for me. This is the actual exposure. So I can look through the camera and go, hey, it's pretty dark. I'm getting real close with my glasses up in the air, so I know I'm like, oh yeah, that's really dark. And I can even look at the meter on the side and see that it's dark. But what we really want to do is take a shot to see. So I'm going to turn off the flash. That's not how you turn it off. I'm going to turn off the flash. Oh, I could also just, I'm going to take a shot. Boom. Once I make this photo, it should be a black frame, which it is clearly. I got to close this. Boop. And here's my picture here. I'm looking at it. And of course, that's fine. And if you weren't tethered in, you could just kind of look at the back of your screen and get a feel for it. But what I like to do, is I like to check. So I'm in Capture One right now. I'm going to grab adjustment. You can do this in Lightroom as well, or whatever you tether into. And basically, I'll look at the histogram just like everybody does, and I'll go, I have no idea what that means. No, maybe we'll do another demo about histograms. But I'll look at the histogram. That's fine, but not ideal. The histogram can tell you a lot of information. In this case, everything's way over on the dark side, so we know it's the whole frame's super dark, right? But that might be what we want. We might want just a slice of light. So we can't tell it's underexposed just by that. What we want to do is grab our exposure slider and take a look. So I'm going to grab the exposure slider. I'm going to bring it up until I start seeing Erica's skin tone, which is around there. And I am almost 3 stops underexposed. That's basically my shadow base, right? So 3 stops of light, of adjustment of light into my shadows before I hit darkness, right? Which means that if I make a photo, it's black. And if I light it with the flash at the exposure that I'm lit at, then all my shadows will be completely black too. I won't get any of this LED light in my shot. Okay, so that was exciting. So let's turn the flash back on. Now again, this is not a TTL flash. So TTL means through the lens. Sometimes we'll use a TTL flash. TTL flash, basically, you take an exposure and the flash does magical things and it's correct. But we're gonna do it the, it's like auto, but it's not really. People don't like the word auto. Okay, auto. It's auto. It's not auto, it's TTL. Okay, so I'm gonna set my light meter at 200th of a second. Oh, hold on. Am I in the right mode? Let me set the right mode. By the way, this is a Sekonic Flashmate 308. It's good when they write it right on there. XU. All right, so I'm going to set my my shutter speed, and I'm going to set my ISO. You see that?
Yep.
Okay, boom. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fire the flash, right, like that. We're going to, what didn't I do? Akiva. I didn't set the flash up. It looks over on the side here. I didn't see my light. Come on now. You can't tell with me because usually my light looks like this. Is that what you're trying to say? All right. Next step, point the light in the general direction of the subject.
Next step, light the sun.
You can only get a good shot like that if you've got one of those like Elinchrom reverse octa things. God, they're so soft. Okay. Yeah, they're so beautiful. All right. All right, so we're gonna take our light meter, we're gonna point it towards the light source, 'cause that's what Mark Wallace says to do. And we're getting f7.1. That's not bad.
It's actually in the pocket.
Yeah, we're in the pocket. Now, we want a little more though. We want f8, right? So we're just gonna turn it up a little bit.
No remote.
I'm gonna do it from the remote.
It's a little override.
Okay.
Okay, is this B?
You need help?
In the B group?
Yeah, here we go. All right, here we go. B group. I'm gonna turn it up. Boop, boop. It doesn't actually make sound, so I'm just doing that for a sound effect.
Yeah.
Were you convinced though that it was the sound? Yeah, they were. Okay, good. Okay.
Don't smack the model with it, which was
Yeah, do not hit the model with the.
You're also blocking the light now that you're standing over there.
No, no enough to do that. This is in the A group. Well, that's good to know it didn't work, because if it had changed it, that would have been bad. So all right, we're at eighth of a plus blah 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 doing math. Okay, so I'm going to turn this up to a quarter power. 8. I'm like a magician. You know, magician's like, hey, can you confirm that, sir? Magician. F8.
They put in a lens. There you go.
Okay, I can't see. All right. All right.
It's literally got a screen flipped out.
Just take that little section and make that into a how to use a light meter video, and you're done. Okay, there we go. No extra charge for that. All right, so we got F8. The light's kind of pointed at her. Camera set at F8. Boom. All right. All right, good. That's not bad. All right, thanks for coming, guys. Buy the lights in the back. Oh, no, we got more time. Okay. So we can see we have a good exposure. Obviously, there's a huge shadow on the wall. Erica looks good. My lighting does not. Okay, so let's fix that. All right, here we go. Uh-oh, a quick question. Whenever somebody says quick question, you know it's not going to be quick. So go ahead and take that long question you're going to ask.
To move that shadow from the sheet, you like step forward a little bit?
Yeah, well, uh-huh. Yeah. It had to get rid of the shadow? Yeah. Step forward. That's what I'm about to do. I didn't know that, but since you told me.
Sir, he took one shot. Take a breath. Relax, okay?
No, you're good. You're good.
He's got to fix it, you know?
I'm giving you a hard time.
You got to do the bad shot so we make a good shot. Then we go, look at this journey we took, guys.
Yeah. This is all part of the magic. It's all part of the magic. You gotta do the bad ones first. You build up to it. If I just came in and did a good picture, everybody'd be like, oh, whatever, and leave. They pay me by the hour here. All right, good. That's terrible. Good, thank you. All right, so the position of the light, obviously, and how close she is to the wall is causing a shadow. By the way, not that shadow, right? How do we know that's not the shadow? Huh? You guys just get here? Eric, why is that not her shadow that we're seeing? Oh, wow, that's actually a good answer, too. That wasn't what I was expecting. Yeah, that's right. Well, that couldn't be her shadow because this is directly behind her.
I just want you to know he had no faith in you. See that? He's
I
like,
didn't-
oh, that was actually a good answer.
It was the wrong answer, but it was a good answer. Because we eliminated all the light in the space. That shadow is from these lights. So that's not the shadow we're trying to get rid of. But we are trying to get rid of this shadow. Now, if you were unsure, you know, unlike this gentleman that knew to move her forward, you could turn on the modeling light.
Supposed to be a rookie day. Come on.
I know, come on. Oh, we're already in high-speed sync. Okay, there's a lot of menus in this. Oh boy. Okay, I'm just gonna walk away from that for a second. So I'm gonna put the Monolight on. So what'd you do? What'd you do? All right, here comes Joe to take care of this.
Yeah, I'm swiping.
You know, when I first started, like triggers for cameras, it had like you put it on the hot shoe, there was like a button, like one button. This thing's like my phone. I think I sent a text to my mom when I was doing that.
She still didn't watch the stream.
Yeah, exactly. She'll watch a repeat. All right, so this is, any questions while we're goofing around here? Yeah, go for it. You got another question? All right, that was it. You knew the answer to your question too, right? You were, right. Did you get a raffle ticket, by the way? Get yourself a raffle ticket. Where's Teresa? She's hiding. All right.
She'll be back.
There it is. There's the modeling light. This modeling light, thank you, Joe. Hand for Joe. All right. What have we learned here? Whenever you're doing any kind of portrait shoot, do it in Adorama. You got people here that can help you.
Also, restart the remote.
Restart the
remote.
I got nervous because too much stuff was happening. All right. So basically, we now have a modeling light, which will allow us to aim our light. We can see where it falls. So there's a couple of things here. She was too close to the wall, right? Which is causing the shadow. But the other thing too is that because the umbrella is so far away, the distance between the umbrella and the distance between the wall and the distance between the umbrella and the distance between her, we're basically, the ratio is too small, which means that the wall is being evenly lit, right? If we move her closer to the umbrella or the umbrella closer to her, to shift that ratio, it'll also make the wall a little bit darker, right? So what won't get rid of the shadow is this, right? That's not going to do it, right? Because I'm turning the light this way. That won't do anything because the light's still going to hit her the same way. Because this is what we need to do is move it so that our shadow's going this way. Yeah, that should probably get rid of most of it. All right, come a little closer. Don't be shy. Okay. Let me frame this up so the top of your head's not in the shot. Okay, good. Now, what happened? I moved her, right? So what's going to happen with the exposure? It's going to be wrong, right? Let's test it. Now, there's two answers to this, or two solutions, or two ways you can handle it, I should say. One is we can adjust the light. Yeah, we're 11 now. 11's too bright, right? I could theoretically just close down to 11, but when you start shooting, do not find yourself a victim to the light meter and just changing your exposure all the time. Your camera is set. Do not change it unless you absolutely have to. That will confuse you. Plus, as you start adding multiple lights into your system, that's going to mess everything up. So change the light, not the camera. So we know this is in zone 1 or group 1, and we're at a quarter power now.
Yeah. The power of the light is not your exposure. The exposure what you set on your camera, you fluctuate the power to get you to the exposure you set in the camera.
Exactly.
So change the light, not the camera.
Yeah. That should be a t-shirt. I'm aiming for t-shirts. There you go. I steal all kinds of stuff. All right. There it is. F8 again. For all you know, there's been F8 all along on the meter, and I'm just doing it. Doesn't matter. You don't know.
It's like one of the pranks. It just squirts water at you. Just says that.
Boom. Okay.
Dan,
Yes.
what's the power on strobe right now?
1 millionth power. You tell me what the power of the strobe is. It was 1 quarter power at F8, and then it was F11, so I had to turn it down, 1 stop. So what's the power of the strobe? 1/8. I knew you were thinking it. I could feel it through your eyes. Yeah, I went down 1 stop, right? That's a good question.
It's always half as much or twice as much, right?
Right. So if I go down 1 stop, quarter power. Well, in this case, I went down to an 1/8. Hey, Ab, what's going on? By the way, Ab, this morning on Instagram, he was cooking up some eggs. And I'm like, man, those look good.
Yeah, he should start have a cooking show. That man, he's like crushing it with lighting and cooking.
Yeah. Lighting and cooking, I like that. Ab, fashion shoot while you're cooking. I love it. Start that series. Okay, so the shadow's mostly gone, right? We got a little bit of shadow there, but we like a little bit of shadow. Nicer light on her overall, right? Top of her head's chopped off, so it's much nicer, right? Got a little more shadow on her face because of the position. So we're happy here, right? We're like, oh, look, we got a picture. That's just with 1 light. And the background is relatively close to the normal light that it is. So for a portrait where nobody cares if the gray is exactly the same gray, you can get away with a pretty nice shot with 1 single light. And look at this. You can buy these limited edition reflectors. Seth makes these. Are you still making them? Maybe not. This might be vintage. Vintage Seth Miranda. See, check this is from where he hit me with it.
I'm gonna hit you with. I'll hit you in a minute.
It's weird because the first batch were made in Brooklyn, so we were calling them Brooklyn reflectors, right? But then Seth made the second batch in Manhattan, and now they're not worth as much. What's up with that?
If they're made in Soho, though, they get there twice as much.
That's true. Yeah, it's all where you're making them in Manhattan. There we go. Cleaned it up, right? So here we are, filling in the shadow with the reflector. You can obviously use a pop-up reflector. We sell them as well. Please buy stuff. All right, good. Can we start like a super chat?
Those
No, I'm
aren't
kidding.
bite marks on the reflector. These are. This is when something costs so little, you throw it around. But what you're actually seeing is that's fingers denting it, and then this is from C-stand bites
Yeah. That's the truth.
because
All
you
right.
can mount them to C-stands.
See, the truth is not as cool as the legend. That's why I don't let Seth. All right, so there we
We
go.
could use a pizza
Umbrella.
box. We could actually do this real beginner style and use some pizza
We
boxes.
could do a pizza, but that's Seth's thing. Come next week. Next week?
Oh shoot! I got
Seth's doing a demo next week, so
not
come by.
next week. 17th. Don't
17th.
16th. Sometime it is. Leave me alone.
All right, so that's an umbrella. Umbrella's nice. We're going to use this, and we're going to add additional light because we have a 2-light kit because, you know, that's how we roll. I lost the other light stand.
The other stand is right here, honey.
Oh, thank you. Good thing Erica's here. All right, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. These are special edition, by the way. Good for Erica. See that? Special edition, black and white.
They're called the
zebra.
tuxedo edition.
What are they
I'm
called?
making this up. They're calling those tuxedo.
You know, when I got my car,
Very stormtrooper.
I have a Mini Cooper. You know, I don't care about that kind of stuff like tires and stuff, but it has the tuxedo tires. This reminded me. And they're like, oh, well, we could special order you a different car, or you could pay an extra X amount of dollars for the tuxedo tires. So I got the tuxedo tires. They are nice. So when I'm rolling, I go real slow. I have the neon lights under my car.
What channel you?
That's A, so we can do B.
What channel?
Oh, 3, I think, if they said it right. Let's say. So we're in channel. By the way, there's channels and there's, wow, that's a different demo. Okay, let's do a softbox.
Here.
Cool. Thank you. Set the setup. Erica with the handoff of the thing. We got a good team going on here. Erica knows me. This is not her first shoot. Back in the day when I used to shoot more film, or as the kids call it, analog, you would use different cameras, right? Because like different styles and different formats and stuff. And I would always lose at least one camera during the shoot. You'd be like, oh, where's that RZ?
Oh yeah.
It's like buried under some Polaroid somewhere. Okay, we're gonna use a softbox, the legendary softbox. So, you know, the idea of the softbox was actually originated, you know who created the original softbox? Who? You didn't say it loud enough. Oh, what was the question? Who invented the softbox, or this style of portable softbox? Not this one, but just portable softbox in general. Shimira, the Shimira Softbox Company, and one of the original founders who then went off to make Plume. They were mountaineers, you know, mountain climbers, and they had ultralight tents. I cannot open this. Seth was right.
What did I say?
Oh, it's one of these style? Okay. And they had these ultralight tents with these little poles and stuff. And they were like, oh, you know what we could do? And they made a softbox. And that's how the first softbox were created. Look at that. Not this style, though. That is not going to stay. I can already tell. Oh, no. Not staying. Okay. This is a quick setup, clearly. 2x3, I think. Softbox. Looks like it. I'm going to back up into the demo area now. Well, there's a light there, so I was trying to. here. All right, so here we go. For anybody watching online that was probably just looking at the top of my head, this is a 2x3 softbox. I set it up really easily and with a lot of finesse if you didn't see that online.
To be fair, he has arthritis.
So advantage softbox over umbrella, right, is that we can see with the umbrella our beautiful soft lights coming out of it, right? But then it's kind of spilling everywhere. We don't have the control. Softbox puts that all together so we can cut the edges and get a little more control, right? So this would often be used for a key light where we want to really shape the light on somebody's face. So we'll switch this up we'll switch the umbrella up for this. We'll put it on here. Oh, yeah, I'll figure it out of it at some point. Look at that. It's not like I'm live or anything. Yes, this is what they call a Bowens mount. I don't think Bowens is around anymore, but they left us a good mount, I guess. Yeah. So this is a spinning mount. All right. I got it.
No charge for those noises. You get those for free, guys.
Does it lock?
It's the sound of a man easing into a bath. Hold on.
There's no better way to get Seth to do something than to take too long.
So there's a knob in here. You tighten it.
Oh.
Spinning.
I'm honestly afraid to stick my hand in there because I'm the one who built that softbox, and I know it's right not. Oh, I heard a click. Now it's down. It's safe. Okay, there we go.
Vertical, right?
Well, it's rotating, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna.
Okay. Yeah, I want it vertical. Oh, right. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. All right. So, thank you, Seth. Did we just lose a piece?
Messing up my boards. You know what? Can you retire?
I wish. I have a GoFundMe. No.
Support my Patreon. My puppies are sick.
All right, so we're going to collapse this umbrella for a second. Move it back here. And let's start. Now, normally I would just light from this side with the softbox, but then I'll block the cameras, which is, so something to keep in mind if you're doing, a live stream during your photo shoots, because I'm sure that's very common. All right. Probably more common today than it used to be. All right, so we're going to use a softbox instead, just show you the difference. And then we'll start building up something a little nicer. I think there's actually some more cool stuff inside this kit too. Yeah. Watch to the end of the video to find out my last tip. Oh, yeah. Okay. So again, same kind of basic premise here. We're going to take our softbox light and we're going to actually use it to create a fairly dramatic shape on Erica's face. So she's going to come forward a little bit. Right there, please. Thank you. Yep. So remember, the softbox has these edges, right? So we can kind of aim it a little bit better. This is in my B group. So I'm going to come over to B. I'm going to go over to A first, and I'm going to turn it off. Okay, I think I did that right. And then we're going to go back to B. Nope, that's not how you do it. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to have just this light fire, which is in our B group. Okay, so we had this one at 1/8 power. So again, since we're not sure exactly, because it's a new lighting kit to us, we're roughly the same distance, but we are going through more diffusion. So in theory, we might need a little bit more light, but let's just start off at the same power. We have a question, go for it.
So someone in the chat is asking, a grid on the umbrella would prevent the light spill, wouldn't it?
So you can't really put a grid on an umbrella, but a grid on a softbox will do that, which we'll get to. Yep, I'm just setting in the same one. Okay, so here we go, softbox. That still fired, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're looking at basically the softbox. We got a little bit of this umbrella light ripping around. I don't know if it really affected it that much, but let's find out. let's do a comparison. What happens when you leave the light on by mistake? Not a whole heck of a lot because it wasn't really pointed in the right direction, right? Yeah, got a little hotness. So they look basically the same, right? So the umbrella wasn't really, because it's collapsed down and it was over here, it really wasn't affecting it hardly at all. So if I was in TTL, going back to that, it probably would have affected it. Why? Because this light would have powered itself up in order to try to get light over there. But since I'm not, it was a manual, so it's not gonna do it. So we're a bit hot. And again, if you're using Capture One, like I am, and I recommend, or Lightroom, you can grab your exposure and move it down a bit to see where the skin tone starts to look good. Let's say around there, right? And then we can just look and go, it's about 3/4 of a stop, right? 3/4 of a stop. I come back over here. I'm at 1/8 power. So I'm going to turn it down. Okay, this goes in 2/3 increments. So I'll go 2/3, or it goes in 1/3 increments. I'll go 2/3. Oop, I went the wrong way. Okay, then we're gonna take another shot. Now it's important when you're using Capture One stuff that you reset it after you make your little quick adjustment, because otherwise it will carry the adjustment over. So there we go. So now we got a nice tight look with the softbox, right? So we can see that roughly in the same position as our umbrella. Where do we start the softbox here? Right. What's the main difference here for us, aside from a little bit more kind of wraparound? Was that what was the reflector? No. What we get is the background's a bit darker, right? Background's darker because softbox gives us control of where the light falls. We're pointing the light away from the background, right? It's also technically slightly closer to her, because when you're using an umbrella, the back of the light you have to be worried about, right? If I'm moving the back of the light is throwing the light into the umbrella and coming this way, right? So I can only get the umbrella light so close before the physical fixture is in the shot.
You can physically see.
Yeah. Whereas like us sewing it, right? So if you went like that, you could see, right? Even if we put the light all the way to here, the umbrella would still be back there, right? So this is technically bigger. It's also closer, right? So that's why we're getting more fall off. Now we do have a special tool that we can use, which somebody asked about in the chat, which is a grid. So a grid, what else do we have in here? Oh yeah, look at that. I'm just reaching in the bag like something. All right.
Like a Mary Poppins bag.
Yeah, we just keep reaching in there, pulling out stuff. This is a grid. It's in a piece of saran wrap. We'll get it out. All right. So a grid, or an egg crate. We'll just cut the video there and bring it back when I walk forward again. Or an egg crate. I feel like they never cut these videos after in the end. They just leave it.
No, they're not.
All right. All right. What this is going to do is allow us to cut the amount of light a little bit because of the black in front of it, but really it's cutting the throw of light, right? Instead of the light going out 120 degrees or 130 degrees, depending on the softbox, it's going to be like 40 degrees. So this is going to kind of bring us in so we can get a tighter shot. So it does up the contrast a tiny bit because we're putting we lose that kind of white reflection, if you will, off the front of the softbox. We get a little more contrast. We get a better control of the light. Oftentimes, people that use softboxes will just always use a grid, but I feel like it's oftentimes a good idea to try it both ways if you're not sure, because sometimes you want that spread, right? This is not.
Yeah, anytime you put something in front of a light, including a grid on a softbox, you're going to lose light.
Yeah.
You're going to lose power. You're also going to gain contrast with this as well, which could give you the perception of losing power.
Right. So
You're also going to lose the spread of light, which means if you're trying to use a reflector, you lose some real estate to grab that reflector because it's not spreading as much to hit the reflector.
Right. Exactly. So, there's benefits to the grid.
And this is Daniel Norton trying to understand Velcro. There you go. Attaboy.
Didn't they invent that for NASA? So there's benefits to the grid, but one of them being it's really cool. But
And you can charge it.
and you can charge more. But you also have to consider that it's not always the best thing. So we're going to just use it. I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to shoot with the grid. Yeah, and we can see we got a little darker. Background is definitely darker on that side, right? Because the spread of light. And then in addition to that, the whole thing's a little bit darker. So I'll probably have to give myself a little more power. No, not even. Like literally less than a third. I think I'm not. So these lights have a 1/3 stop increment. If I bring it up a 1/3 of a stop, I think it's too much. So now I have to use what's called the inverse square law. All right, everybody got your notebook here to do the math. So
Just
light
YouTube
falls
it.
off at the blah, blah, blah. You can move the light back. Okay. Or closer, actually. Now, of course, moving the light closer does also affect the way the light feels on the subject. So it's not always the best thing, but that was really our option there. So now we've got kind of a contrasty, punchy single light shot, right? And here's the thing. You might think this is too dark, might not be perfect for exactly what you want, but using shadow on the face will help shape the face and bring it out, and we can fill it back in. Now, like Seth mentioned, I could use the reflector. We'll probably get a little bit less from the reflector than we would have without a grid though, right? So let's try that first, but I think ultimately we're going to use a second light, you know, the advantage of the 2-light kit, which is going to give us a fill light.
Imagine
Right?
that.
I know, it's cool. This is actually going somewhere, I swear.
Almost like a
Yeah.
The chat says that Velcro is a Vulcan invention, according to Star Trek.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Why didn't they call it Velcro then? Oh, okay.
I hate when you get a good joke in.
That's not terrible, actually. You know what? We don't need another light. Buy a 1-light kit. You're good. Now, so what's the advantage of using an actual secondary light for fill is that you have a little bit more precise control and also the direction of it if you were afraid of the direction. But I think in this case, it looks pretty good. But we're still going to use this anyways because, like I said, we could do something else with this, I suppose. But we're going to start here. So when you are putting, she's nervous. It could be terrible. When we're putting a fill light in, we don't necessarily want to put it like you saw where we put the reflector in, right? You don't want to put a light here because what you're going to risk at that point is weird cross shadows. Because even if you balance it perfectly, it's sometimes tough to get it really right. So the reflector can never be too bright because the light's got to travel to it, reflect, and then travel back, right? That's physics, right? That's the inverse square law and reflectance and all kinds of other math, and don't worry about that. With this, we can control it, right? We're going to be able to control the light, keep it exactly where we want it. From here, because this will never throw a shadow that will contrast with the other one because it's going straight back, right? Okay, question.
Someone in the chat's asking, what would you consider to be an overkill guide number when thinking about buying studio strobes?
Oh boy, I don't know. So overkill, I don't know that you can really go too powerful if you do a variety of subjects, right? I mean, if you do portraits, you're better off buying several smaller watt-second lights than one superly powerful one. But if you do things like food or product photography, you want a lot of power. So I mean, I have a 2400 watt-second pack. What's your speedo? 2000? 2400. So you know.
I mean, you got to think if you're going to be having your light far away from subject, you need more power to cover that distance and area. If you're going to do larger modifiers, you need more power to fill up that modifier.
Yeah.
If you're going to close down your aperture to get more depth of field, like he's talking about with food and stuff like that, like f11 and things like that, yeah, you need more power. So it's really subjective.
Yeah, and the other thing too that you have to consider is, generally speaking, lights will recycle faster and have a shorter flash duration when they're powered down, right? So flash duration is, you can almost think of it like your shutter speed when the flash is your only source of light, right? So like these lights actually say what's the flash rate on the other side of the light, so I can't check it. But it's like 4,000th of a second or something is flash duration. So if I'm trying to drop something and have it freeze, keeping this down at 1/8 of a power, so I'm 4,000th of a second, flash duration is great, right? If I crank this all the way up because I had a 100 watt-second light and I crank it up to full power, my flash duration might only be 1,000 or 500 or something, you know?
Right. And you can always turn a light down. You can't ever go beyond full power, right? Exactly. So your real drawback to buying more power is price and size.
Yeah.
You know, so if you want lighter weight units or you don't want to spend as much, that's when you start figuring out how much power you really need.
Okay.
These are 600 watt-second strobes, but he's been using it at about a 16th or an 1/8 of a power. So think about that, right? Half power of 600 is 300. Quarter power is 150, right? He's been below that, right?
Okay. All right. So A is this one. It's off. I'm going to turn it on. I'm assuming you press this. Would you hold it to? Got it. All right. I think,
We'll find out.
I think so. Yeah, this is on now. So now we have both lights on. We're basically dialing, actually, let me just turn this one off. Okay, we're just gonna do the fill light. So currently this light is set at 1/16th power, because that's what we had it before. But it was also a little bit closer to her, right? And it was covering more stuff. We are blocking, this is blocking a little bit, but this light's gonna wrap around and throw a light straight forward, but I wanna see what it does, right? So I'm just gonna fire it, because again, since I don't have TTL, I'm just getting myself in the right range. So we're just gonna do an exposure and see what we get. Again, I have not changed anything on the camera. Okay, that's not terrible actually. And why do I say it's not terrible? Because it's a fill light, right? What do we want the fill light to be? Fill in the shadows, we want it to be darker than the key light. So this is actually, if anything, a little bit too bright. Remember, we have 3 stops in the shadows. So we don't want to go too dark with it, but we don't want to go too bright either. So I feel like, I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. I feel like the fill light should be around there. That's like another stop. Okay, so we're gonna come up here and I'm gonna take this light and I'm gonna turn it up 1 stop. So it was at 16 plus 16 and a third. So I'm gonna go to 8 and a third. Nope, other way. I'm gonna go to 32nd and a third. Now I've turned it down and we should get a dark frame. All right, that's gonna be our baseline for our filled in shadows, right? Now, I wanna switch to the other light, which is B, which is this guy. There we go. So this one I'm gonna leave where it was, right? Because we liked our exposure. Now here's the thing. When you put 2 lights together, what's gonna happen is it might change exposure. So we might still have to adjust this light. But for now, we know we like it. This is both lights. There we go. Now we're filled in. So now instead of the kind of bouncy fill, we've got a filled in shadow that we can control. I can make the shadows denser. I can make the shadows more filled in and more flat, right? Based on my control. And I'll just do that to kind of show you. So that looks pretty good, I think. But let's take my light that's the shadows, which again is A. And I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna turn it back up. So I'm gonna fill the shadows in a bit more. So again, this is at 32nd power plus 1/3. I'm gonna bring it up to 16 power plus 1/3. So that's 1 stop. I always do 1 stop at a time just to make it more dramatic. And now we can see we've got basically a more flat light, right? And this will give us, we can do whatever we like with this, right? Now, of course, it's barely, if anything, affecting the background, right? Because we know from here, you know, that it's not really hitting the back. I mean, it's hitting it, but it's not adding a lot to the background. So our background light, basically, our background is what it is. We've got the light looking the way we want it to do. I kind of would like to get the background a little bit darker, a little more even. So one way we can do that is just redirect our key light. Somehow I boxed myself in here. I did. I don't know how I did that. So there's lots of ways to do this. I mean, the simplest way would be to put it straight down on her, like kind of a beauty light, but we'll do it this way. Yeah, because I'm filling in from the front, I don't have to worry too much about this being super far to the side, you know, as long as it's still creating nice shadow on Erica's face. All right, so let's see what this looks like. I didn't move it away from her distance-wise. I just aimed it differently, so the exposure should be the same. Yes, that's nicer. See how the background's getting a little bit more light on it, a little more even, I should say. And that's because this is less dark, or more dark, really. That sounds weird, but because of that, the whole thing's more even. The ratio is better. That's the best way to say it. That's really kind of tight, but I only have 2 lights and I really want to just light the background. So now this is where, when you're using a 2-light kit, you got to kind of think about what you want to do. If we want to light the background up, then we could either use one of these 2 lights, or we can move things closer so that the spill covers it. But I think let's change up the light, actually. I know I said I was going to light the background, but I changed my mind. Let's do a hair light. You know I like a good hair light. Yeah. So we're going to use this for the hair light. So, yeah, you know, everybody loves a hair light. This is going to be a hair/separation light. It's coming with the grid forward because always use the most expensive over the kill light for the hair light because that, you know, just confuses people. You know how when you first learn lighting, they're always like, take the light off the camera. They lied. Okay. All right, so. What's happening here? I don't know, but I'm doing something. So again, let's work this together. What's that? Dead air. Right. I was thinking when my brain thinks it's just steam that comes out and there's no sound. All right, so we're gonna come back over here. This is light in the back is B. Okay, so I'm gonna turn B off. I think. Yeah, I don't. How do you turn it off?
Go to that.
Oh, that makes sense. The on-off switch.
That's a good place to start with the new kit.
Yeah.
To be fair, up until now, you went into the mode until the mode set off, not the actual light being turned
Yeah,
off.
there's like a little thing. Yeah.
So Dan's been doing the same thing for 27 years.
True.
It's hard to get out of old habits.
5. Okay, so we're getting 5. 5's not enough, right? What's enough? By the way, it took this entire demo to build up to that. What's enough? 8. 8 is enough. Oh. Man, it took the whole demo to get there. but we
Well,
got there.
that's it. The chat, you can all leave. There is a thumbs down next to that thumbs up. You're welcome to use it. 15 years, 1.5 million, and you just killed this channel.
I killed it. All right, so we're 5, which is a little bit less than 5.6. So we got to give ourselves a stop and a third-ish of power. I'm at 16. 16. So I'm gonna go to 8. 8 and 2/3. Yeah. All right. Come on. Okay.
You used to 1 through 10, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, a little bright, but it's okay. Not terrible. All right, we're a little hot, but not super hot. Do I like that? Should be closer to you, right? I think we want it closer. I was trying to be lazy and not move the light, but that never pays off. That'd be way too easy. All right, look at that. If we were doing a video, a little B-roll here. Okay, so I moved it forward about half the distance. So I'm going to use the inverse square law, I think. And I'm going to go back to 16. Okay. I lowered the power of the light because we moved it closer. There we go. Nicer, right? What happened there, right? So what does that tell you? Never leave the light behind the camera. No, we moved it closer. So what happened? The fall off was more dramatic because it's closer to her than it was before, right? The closer something is, the quicker the fall off is. So we get nice, rich shadows. And now what we want to do is add a hair light. I think maybe we're chopping a little bit too much of your head off there. Somebody might think you don't have a forehead. All right.
Someone might.
All right. Somebody might think that. All right. So the light in the back. What do you think? It's at 16th power now. What do you think? Is that okay? That's where you want it? You can have it any way you want. That's what you choose. 16th.
Hair light is that?
No, I'm talking about the hair light. What do you want it at?
Oh, hair light?
Yeah. 32. All right. So if you don't really know what to set your lights at, just ask a random person.
To
No,
just be fair, there is correct exposure and creative exposure.
Yeah.
This is as much a feel as it is a science. Just because numerically it might be on point doesn't mean that's the look we're going for.
right. Okay, so we can see with 32, it's a little bit light, right? Because remember, I've got a grid.
Pretty though.
Yeah, of course. Is it going to be quick?
Yeah. How'd that look in black and white? Anybody-
How does it look in black and white? It looks like there's no skin tone, and Yeah, I don't know. It'd probably look good, but not great. You want a light for black and white.
Just hit the toggle.
Yeah, but hold on one second. Did that fire? It did. Okay. No, it's not. That's yeah, it's firing. Okay. Yep. All right, we got it. Okay. Yeah. So we can see that the hair light is super subtle. Right. I can see it bringing this in. It's not enough, right? So I like my hair light to be subtle. If you're just kind of you don't have a light meter kind of starting, try to get your hair light on exposure with the front light to start with. That's a good place to start. So let's get the meter out. I know I just asked you randomly what it should be. So I didn't expect that it would be correct. I mean, I wouldn't know it at 4, right? So we're 2 stops down, right? So we need even more light. There's no way that you could know what kind of tricks I do up here. So that's what? Somebody's calling me for some reason in the middle of the demo? It's Seth. Get off the stage.
Yes, this stage, this tall stage is above us all.
The world's my stage. All right, here we go. All right, so now it's starting to come in subtly. There we go. So now we've got a nice subtle hair light. We got light shaping her face. I would still like it to be closer. Yeah, I'm going to. Okay. I'm going to move this light in a tiny bit closer. I'm going to tilt it up a tiny bit more. And we're going to break out.
So they're commenting that the light looks like it's aimed past her hair, but that's how you want a hair light to be. You want it to rake across and feather across.
Right. Hair light is all about giving texture and shape, right? So if I aim the light at the back of her head, right, my camera can't see the back of Erica's head, right? You want the light go past her so it kind of just puts the glow through the side.
Yeah, you almost want to not realize it's there till you shut it off, but
Yeah.
the goal is to get texture and depth to hair.
Am I going to fit that in there without killing you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I hold it?
Yes, please. All right. We're going silver because, specular, exactly. Boom. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Flip that board.
We'll go white, less specular. We might even call it diffused. Okay. I want it lower though. Yeah.
My hands the way that you want it. This way?
Yeah. Seth said that. So it's going to be perfect. And if it sucks, I'll blame him. Oh, it's perfect. There we go. All right. No, and I mean,
Yeah, but it's subtle, but you can see it. It shapes your face.
yeah,
completely.
100%. Yeah, because you can see how dark the shadow is with that. So here's the thing. And that was kind of a good little thing to play around with there. Whenever you're doing this kind of stuff, right, you're going to see people do these demos and they're all going to do the same thing. Right? But what does that do? It's just always going to bounce the light the same way. Sometimes your light's coming from different directions. Sometimes you want it to feel more organic. So you can shift and shape your reflector as much as you want to get it to feel different ways on your subject. And you can have it really low, tight. You can use silver. I'm saying light, right? That's what you can see, right? So this kind of board is really useful for that. And just that alone, setting up a light and just kind of, or even the sun, and just kind of playing with it on somebody's face to kind of see how light tracks is just a really good way to kind of see how to shape different people's faces, because not everybody will need the same shaping.
Yeah, I mean, you guys see the difference in the shape of her face, right? From left to right.
And if you don't see it, you can't win the light.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so there you go, right? This particular kit, again, is the 600 SE kit, 2-light kit. It is on special for $210 off, but any kit that you're looking for should have certain components. You want to make sure that you've got some kind of case to carry it in. It's the last thing people think of, and one of the more expensive things to buy after the fact. Make sure you have stands for all your lights and a modifier for each one of your lights. Softboxes, umbrellas, anything that you like that will give you variety. I like one of each if you're just going to have 2 modifiers, so you can kind of use an umbrella sometimes, use a softbox, have a grid. This will give you options, right? If you buy 2 lights independently, with 20-inch octas on them, then you're not going to have a lot of options. You're just going to have 2 lights that are the same that you can do whatever. So buying a kit like this gives you a little variety, and generally it ends up being cheaper than buying stuff independently. So yeah, if you have any questions about lighting beyond this, in the store here, we got lots of awesome people Any questions online before we kind of? All right, Seth will be. Are you streaming? When's yours? 16th. Seth's going to be here. Oh, I'm back. I'm back before you. I'll mention it then. I'll be back on the 11th. We're going to find out what you really need to make a portrait. Maybe this, probably something else. Keep it interesting. This is Erica. Seth. I'm Daniel Norton. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Do all that good stuff on YouTube. Nobody leave if you're in the store.
Oh, and if you didn't get a raffle thing.
Did you get a raffle ticket? Do we already close off? Ah,
That was the worst this one.
I thought you were already. I thought you were fading on me when the claps. All right, hold on.
Just say
Online, hang out for a second. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and go to this QR code over here. No, where is it? There it is. Where's the QR code?
I'm sorry, Rick. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. So hit subscribe, hit like. Daniel needs the validation. Thanks, guys. Clap, clap.